What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Well. It looks like your boy Ego was wrong. While ago, after the story first broke, I did a video on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and they said he tested positive after the Martinez fight for having marijuana in his system. And in that video, I believe I stated that I thought he was going to get a slap on the wrist. He is a son of a boxing legend, a Mexican legend. So I thought they would use that and basically have mercy just based on who he is as a fighter, the son of a legend. And it's quite the contrary. I was completely wrong, and they ruled today, I believe, the Nevada State Boxing Commission, and it is the second most expensive fine in Nevada State combat sports history. The first was Mike Tyson when he bit off Evander Holyfield's ear. He was penalized $3 million or charged $3 million for that incident. And Chavez Jr. for smoking weed or whatever, for testing positive for that, he was charged 30% of his salary. That fight, he earned $3 million to fight Sergio Martinez, and they charged him 30% of that, which was $900,000. So he received a 9-month suspension from the date of the fight, and he received 30% of his purse was penalized, which would make it $900,000, and he has to do a drug test or whatever before his next fight. That's crazy. I honestly didn't see this coming. I thought they would, again, based on who he is. He seems spoiled, like on the 24/7. He's entertaining. I watch his fights, but he did seem spoiled, especially how the HBO depicted him, doing these makeshift workouts at home and waking up at 5 p.m., eating Fruit Loops, and he was just getting instruction from Freddie Roach or his father. His father was like definitely trying to give him advice on how to approach a fighter like Sergio Martinez, and he looked uninterested, and he was eating cereal and that kind of thing. So he just seems like a spoiled rich kid, to be honest, in a lot of ways. And he faced his toughest test against Sergio Martinez, and he put out a valiant effort, I guess you could say. He didn't really, I mean, he was dominated in the fight, but he rallied in the last round and made it exciting. But yeah, I mean, they ruled in 9-month suspension, 30% of his purse, $900,000 for smoking weed. So, a lot of you guys are probably saying, "Oh, this is ridiculous. It's just weed, and weed is nothing." But at the same time, you got to understand that one, this is a business, and so many people are getting busted for just different things. I'd be anxious to hear like Andre Berto, Lamont Peterson in there when they tested. Did they get fines like this? I don't know, because they did 900,000. That's a lot of money. But then again, Lamont Peterson and Andre Berto in their last fights, I believe they wouldn't have got 3 million from the fight. From fighting Amir Khan, I don't think he would have got 3 million. Maybe Amir Khan got 3 million. But yeah, it does seem kind of steep, but you got to put it in perspective. This is Chavez Jr., somebody who's tested positive for a diuretic in late 2000s already, and then he's testing positive for weed. So if you're a professional fighter, this is your profession, you know the rules, you know what you can and cannot have in your system. So this is his second failed drug test. He also had in the Andy Lee training camp, he got a DUI. Now, he got a DUI, I don't know where he was, Miami or somewhere. That has nothing to do with the Nevada State Boxing Commission, but maybe they take this into consideration, like just his troubled outside the ring life, and maybe they're just trying to make an example out of him. But again, this is a second failed drug test. You know what you can and can't take, so it's really doing it at your own risk. It's no different than if you work at Home Depot and you're driving a forklift and you crash into something. They're going to drug test you, and if they found out you have just weed in your system, you're just going to get fired. Trust me, I know this. So I mean, it's no different, and these people are getting quite a substantial amount of money versus working in a Home Depot store. I don't really know anyone that works at the local Home Depot that's getting $3 million. So again, you got to be adult, you got to be responsible, and you got to have your own priorities and know what your priorities are. So if it's that important for you to smoke weed and blaze it up, yeah, then do it. But just know just know the penalties, know the penalties if you're caught. So it is what it is. Just know that if you're doing dirt, what's done in the dark comes to light in most situations. So um, it's up to you to decide how important it is. And if anything, I don't even see why. Like, I know a lot of people smoke weed. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. But I live in California, so it's really not a big deal in terms of smoking weed. It's everywhere. But it's still different for an athlete. If you're an athlete, especially a boxer, this is a combat sport. I don't see why you would be smoking weed or having the urgency or the need to want to smoke weed. It seems like it would make you, if anything, lethargic. It's not necessarily going to improve your performance, but I think it definitely could hinder your performance. That's probably why he's sleeping until 5 p.m. and eating cereal. And he was actually, if you watch that 24/7, he was acting like a pothead. Just how he was jumping in the pool in underwear and eating cereal, sleeping till 5 p.m. So, if anything, um, it's definitely going to hurt you, especially in a combat sport. So, I don't see why some of these athletes abuse their body and do these crazy things. Ricky Hatton, perfect example. Ricky Hatton would balloon up to like ungodly weights. He's a small dude and he weighs probably what I weigh. Like you'd weigh like 230 or something. Like that's crazy. He's not big enough. He's not tall enough to weigh that much. And then he was like drinking heavily and smoking weed. And same thing with Gavin Reese. Gavin Reese mentioned on the Broner backstory before the fight that he was abusing his body and that kind of thing and drinking heavily and partying all the time. So again, as an athlete, you got to be responsible and just know there are consequences for your actions. So if it's that important for you, me personally, I wouldn't want to smoke a $900,000 joint. That's my personal opinion. So um, it wouldn't be worth it in my situation. But then again, I'm not a dependent person. I don't really depend on much. I'm not addicted to anything, so to speak. So let me know what you guys think. Is it too steep of a penalty? Do you care? Bob Arum states that he wants Chavez Jr. to fight, I believe in June, the first eligible date that he's able to fight from the last fight because he had a 9 month suspension. So I'm anxious to see who they put him in the ring with. Personally, I'd like to see a fight with him and like Gennady Golovkin. I don't know if they would make the Sergio Martinez fight that quick because Sergio Martinez, I believe, is fighting in March. And we got to see how he looks after his surgery. He sustained some injuries in that fight. So I don't know if they would do a rematch. I don't know if anyone's really begging for a rematch other than Chavez fans. Because it was pretty much a shutout until the 12th round. But like I said, I would like to see a Chavez Jr. versus Gennady Golovkin or see Chavez move up in to 168 because I think he's a big boy. He's a big dude. I'm not saying he would do great at 168, and I definitely don't think he would beat Andre Ward, but there are some fights out of there. What's the name that just fought? He was just on the undercard. Oh well, the one that he's a mandatory for Andre Ward now. Leave a comment because I can't think of his name right now. But if you know what I'm talking about, leave a comment. He was just on a recent fight on HBO. I think before Adrian Broner fight. I don't know. Either way, let me know who you guys think he should fight. And that pretty much wraps up. Until next video, Ego signing off.